And I stand ready to meet with any of you one-on-one, nearly any time you want. We benefit from that feedback.
Well, I think, frankly, it's regulatory clarity. We have a lot of regulatory clarity in key parts of the world. In Japan and Singapore, the UK, Switzerland, UAE have deemed XRP a currency.
Great history in the private sector. So this is kind of confusing to us. I've heard from a variety of companies who claim they try to work with you and with your organization, but then you turn around and then you hit them with some pretty heavy enforcement actions or slow walk the process.
The SEC isn't sharing with us the framework that they're using. Gary Gensler famously argues that virtually all crypto tokens are securities. I think reasonable people can disagree with that.
But as they enter the market, you have fixed supply, increasing demand. You don't have to go to MIT to know what's going to happen.
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
If you got a bag, welcome to the party. Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News. No breakfast, no coffee, just straight extra bullishness. Shout out to the latest sub. Appreciate you stopping by. Go ahead, throw on those pilot shades and buckle up because the future is extra bullish. And let's go full speed, full throttle into the cryptoverse. We got the total global cryptocurrency market cap right around 1 trillion, down about 2.6% in the past 24 hours. We got XRP 33 cents, down about 2.7 in the past 24. We got Bitcoin right under 20K, Ethereum right around 1,500, and we have Stellar XLM in the number 30 spot, about 10 cents, down about 1.5% in the past 24. Ripple says, congrats on your launch. Construction accounts for nearly 40% of greenhouse emissions, and companies like Carbon Tile will play a vital role in helping decarbonize the sector. Introducing Carbon Tile. Pompliano has removed Bitcoin from his bio. Laser eyes from his profile are gone and hasn't mentioned BTC in months, one by one. Bitcoin maximalists are giving up, moving on to other hobbies as they realize they were wrong about everything. How about meeting with the 72,000 plus investors you swore to protect? You've been waiting for almost 2 years. Seems like you got time for JP Morgan, Soros, Vanguard. Gary, are you there?
And I stand ready to meet with any of you one-on-one, nearly any time you want. We benefit from that feedback. And I
John Deaton, will there be a settlement? SEC, Ripple. I've maintained for more than a year that the settlement is 100% dependent on whether the SEC Gov must turn over the Hinman speech drafts, edits, emails, and comments thereof. Other than having to produce the emails and drafts, another event that could facilitate a settlement is if the SEC receives a disfavorable decision in the library.com case. I've been more convinced that there will be no settlement unless one or both of these things happen. First of all, my opinion regarding the settlement is no better or more relevant than anyone else's opinion. The fact that amicus counsel places me under no better position to speculate than anyone else. I'm just sharing my observation because I'm receiving many emails and DMs asking. The lawsuit was a weapon to slow down adoption and filed for personal gain in order for a select few to benefit financially.
Area. I do think that as you say, the innocent purchaser, let's say the public does not have a disclosure obligation when they buy a stock on the New York Stock Exchange, and it's not the public that should have a disclosure obligation if they buy some crypto security token. But the entrepreneurs, the sponsor, the promoter, the entrepreneurs, that's where the disclosure obligation ought to be. And I think we have authorities now to facilitate and actually have a different set of disclosures, just as we have in other fields. We have different disclosures on something called asset-backed securities than we do for equities. But I do think where I might respectfully differ from, I think, what might be in the question is that I think in the secondary market, 5 years after a stock is issued, a stock of a great U.S. company is issued, there's still a disclosure obligation. And I think that's what Congress did. In 1933, passed a law saying, you've got to make a disclosure if you raise money from the public. But the Congress knew that wasn't enough. And in 34, they came back and said, you know what? We also have to cover the secondary market. In
10 years, still no clarity. We thought Gary would get the job done. May 2021.
Why hasn't XRP gained the kind of traction that so many people thought it would a couple of years ago? What's held it back?
Well, I think, frankly, it's regulatory clarity. We have a lot of regulatory clarity in key parts of the world. In Japan and Singapore, the UK, Switzerland, UAE have deemed XRP a currency. And that's good. We need that clarity, and it's being used, utilized in very effective ways that are helping humans. But in the U.S., 10 years in, we still don't have that regulatory clarity, and that's holding back the U.S. Market for crypto. That's unfortunate.
Why has XRP been singled out, Chris? Why have regulators seemingly singled out XRP and Ripple?
That's a good question. It's perplexing in many ways. XRP was declared a currency by Obama's Treasury in 2015. It's been out there in the wild now for almost 9 years. Hundreds of billions of dollars have traded. So it has utility. So we think that was a perplexing move that happened literally on the last days of the Trump administration in the SEC, for example. But we're hopeful that we can get that clarity in the U.S., and then that will allow the U.S. to be rightfully the number one when it comes to fintech crypto, just like it is with every other part of the internet.
XRP singled out. That's because they know what's coming. We know what's coming. They can't stop it, but they can try to slow it down, shake out more weak hands because they don't want you part of the transformation of wealth. A simple summary of Gary Gensler's time at the SEC from Senator Toomey, Chairman Gensler.
Stepping back, I think there's a larger problem here. As Bloomberg columnist Matt Levine put it, and I quote, Chairman Gensler's posture is that he should be in charge of writing the rules for crypto, but not write them. I just don't see how that can work, end quote.
Gary Gensler doubles down. Majority of the cryptos are securities.
The private sector you've got a great history in the private sector. So this is kind of confusing to us. I've heard from a variety of companies who claim they try to work with you and with your organization, but then you turn around and then you've hit them with some pretty heavy enforcement actions or slow walk the process. Mr. Chairman, you keep telling crypto entrepreneurs and the companies to come in and to register. Has anyone actually tried to do that?
To answer your question, there's 6 companies that are actually registered under the disclosure regimes. I would say this. Not liking the answer from the SEC doesn't mean there isn't guidance, just with all fairness. And most of these tokens, the vast majority, are securities, and thus the intermediaries are likely to be in non-compliance with securities laws right now. So we're really trying to work with them. We're talking to a wide swath of these organizations right now to get them properly registered, to get them inside the remit. And this is what we do. With all respect to Mr. Levine, we've been pretty clear. My predecessor, Chair Clayton, was through commission actions and in his public voice in front of this committee and others about this matter. And we're going to continue to protect the public as best we can.
10 years later, they hit us with the lawsuit. They don't want you part of that new transformation of wealth. Ripple partner eBanks is expanding into Africa with an eye on the mobile money. They will offer a digital wallet in Africa. Digital payments will leverage digital commerce. Not clear Ripple is used here, but eBanks acquired Ripple partner Remessa Online. All roads lead to the bridge. Gary Gensler owes investors, innovators alike more clarity on how he intends to apply the SEC Gov regulations to digital assets.
So I think the problem is that the SEC isn't sharing with us the framework that they're using. Gary Gensler famously argues that virtually all crypto tokens are securities. I think reasonable people can disagree with that. He would exempt Bitcoin from that classification, but pretty much everything else he says is a security. But then he doesn't go on to say how we would apply the existing frameworks that we use to regulate securities issuance and trading to a very, very new and very different technology where some of these things don't fit, right? Custody rules, clearance rules, these things don't have any application. And he hasn't provided any clarity on that. I think actually Congress should step in and provide some guidance. I think crypto is sufficiently different, even if you want to argue that these tokens are securities. You go ahead and make the argument, but you can't dispute that they're very different from a stock or a bond, and therefore Congress ought to step in and provide a framework. I'm working on that. That's going to be really hard to get done. In the meantime, Chairman Gensler owes us much more clarity on how and why he intends to apply SEC regulations.
Think about the incentives Gary Gensler is setting when he says only Bitcoin is not a security. Should the only way you're allowed to innovate in America be you hide your identity from the government? It's pretty basic logic to understand that if Bitcoin is not a security, a set of steps must exist that can be followed for other tokens to not be securities. Why can't the SEC say what those steps are? How can not a single token have followed them in 13 years? This is all a show. Don't fall for the media trickery. Load up while you still have some time. Big Brad Garland House says, truly an incredible technological feat. Congrats, Ethereum community, on the merge. I would like to congratulate JP Morgan on the Ethereum merge. Digital asset investor. Public officials need to pick a side. The truth will set you free. You can't have a set of rules for Ethereum and one set for everything else.
Through an initial sale of digital assets. So we believe that it is those that raise the money through an initial sale of digital assets and those that continue to provide essential managerial efforts should be held responsible.
Okay, so I'll talk a bit about the funding model. So we will have a fundraiser for 2 months starting February 1st. It will be available at funds.ethereum.org.
Section 301 of our bill provides for robust technology-neutral disclosure obligations that would hold responsible those who benefited from that fundraising.
So the idea is that part of the initial issuance will be 1,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin, or up to 2,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin if you get in early to compensate for the increased risk. So
we got the evidence. Get the jumpsuits. Get the gel cells ready. Santamin Feed says, according to our Ethereum post-merge inflation dashboard, 46% of the proof-of-stake nodes for storing data, processing transactions, and adding new blockchain blocks can be attributed to just 2 addresses. The heavy dominance by these addresses is something to watch. Decentralized? I don't think so. Charles Hawkinson, E2.0 requires Shanghai, which is next year by a minimum by their own release schedule. My prediction is still on target. You don't understand that nothing has changed in terms of performance, operating costs, nor liquidity. A user paid 36.8 ETH in gas fees to mint the first proof-of-stake NFT on Ethereum. Wait till they get a hold of that XRP standard. No upgrades needed. R.I.P. ETH miners. For those who still need reminding, something big is coming. Are you ready? Flare Networks. Connect everything. DAI, does anyone really believe out of all the people and financial institutions that Ripple has met with, only Greg Kidd, R3 bought an option, pre-allocated XRP? If you go, my igloo in South Georgia is still available for a terrible price. Fixed supply, increase in demand, prices go rocket. Institutions will hold most of it, in my opinion.
Institutions, Joey and I sat in a meeting not that long ago with, some of the largest institutional money in the world trying to get smart about crypto. They owned 0 on that day. I don't know if they do today. But as they enter the market, you have fixed supply, increasing demand. You don't have to go to MIT to know what's going to happen. Institutions, Joey and
we'll see you at the tippy top. And with that being said, bagman and bag ladies, know what you hold and why they want you out. Keep the eye on the prize. Any red day is just another opportunity to dollar cost average to the transformation of wealth. XRP, all roads lead to the bridge. First, we had the Internet of Information. Now welcome to the new standard, the Internet of Value. Where will you be when that rocket takes flight? We'll catch you up here at the tippy top. I am the XRP Bagman, the Moon Commander, currently up here, stuffing some bags and enjoying the show. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in, smashing those likes for some more Moon O'Clock news. Hope y'all continue to stay extra bullish out there. Continue holding those good vibes. Remember to sell the FUD, buy up that bag, and don't forget to spread that liquid love. Also, if you're new here, don't forget to drop a subscribe, drop a comment down below. All the OG diamond hands, drop a comment down below. Drop an elbow on that like button from the top floor, and we'll catch you up here on the mothership for the moon party. BYOB. Bring your own bag. Peace out, Crypto Ghost. I be getting bags till we blast off. Haters stay mad cause we popped off. Free that standard and drain that swamp. We that squad. Mothership launch way off radar. All them XRP tokens went off. Shout out we say when cause my son on lock. They try to hold us down but we took that spot. BTC what baby XRP. Flare's supposed to pop 4th of July. Gary knows the truth when on TV then he lied. Pockets full of E, wells in disguise.